Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of Motivational Monday, where each one teach one. Hope everyone is having a fantastic Monday. Father, thank you for your grace and your mercy, dear Lord. We ask your grace to be light in our life. Grant us the wisdom to understand more deeply the powers of your amazing grace. Help us to recognize it as a gift of your love, freely given, not something we can earn. Guide us daily to make our eyes on you. Humble our power by your grace. Help us to be faithful to you, knowing that your grace is ever present and available. Help us to always remain faithful to you, even when faith is tested. Let us be forever grateful for your gift of your grace. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen and amen. Hope everyone is having a fantastic week. If you're celebrating a birthday today, I would like to say happy birthday. May God continue to bless you richly. Yes, I am on location. I am in St. Martin this week and just bringing all the love and guidance to you guys, right? Philia will be joining us shortly. And I just want to say our goal is to educate and empower anyone, regardless of their race, color, and ethnicity. Our struggles with any assortment of life adversities. We believe education enlightens dark paths less traveled and liberates a sense of hopelessness. We believe the safety of transparency illuminates and activates the true meaning of caring and sharing on reveal and emancipation wholeness. Our group session is designed our midst of information, life topics surrounding individuals, families, communities, and the nation. So, welcome, Philia.
Hello, welcome everybody. Welcome to
Welcome,
this.
welcome. How you doing?
I'm well. How are you? How was
I'm
your
blessed,
travel?
blessed
Awesome.
and highly favored.
Yes,
I
you
want to
are.
say congratulations going out again to my nephew Shadrach Worrell
Yes.
on graduating with his master's degree in Paris.
All right.
All God's blessing, Sherry. You know, your auntie and your whole family loves you and rooting, and we know big and great things for you.
Yes. Amen. That's beautiful.
Yes, amen.
hmm
Philia, you have a word of the week?
Yes. The word of the week is instigate. I'm sure we hear people who instigate. It's people who are in
Yes.
everybody's business. People who like to start trouble, people who like to add fuel to the fire, people who
Fire.
like to add salt and pepper to everything.
Yes.
So, instigate is the word of the week.
Oh, great. That's a great word because we have a lot
Yes,
of people like to instigate things that is
love
not
it.
true and
Yes,
fabricate a lot of things that
exactly.
causes disruption to other
Exactly.
people's
That
lives, you
that
know?
is 100% key. Yes.
Yeah. So I like that word this week,
Yes.
instigate. So I was
Instigate.
saying if anybody was celebrating a birthday this week,
hmm
happy birthday.
Yes.
And if they were celebrating a birthday weekend, God, happy
Happy
belated
big
birthday.
birthday. Yeah.
Yeah. And I just want to say condolences again going out to the Chambers family. My friend Jason, mother passed away. Jason, we love you. You are average watcher of the Motivational Monday.
Yeah.
And our love and prayers goes out to you. That is never easy. And there's no time period for grief. So take your time, right?
Yes, they did. Good.
Also, one of my friend Kiki friends passed away, a young person too. And I want to say, just please accept my condolences at this time.
Yes.
So, our health tip for this week is what is the purpose of the air? Your air. The air are organs of hearing and balance. Sound waves are picked up by the air, converted into electrical impulse, and set to the brain where they can be processed. Human air organs of hearing and equilibrium that detects and analyze sound by transduction of the conversation of sound waves into electrical mechanical impulse and maintains the sense of balance, equilibrium. Hearing is essential for maintaining relationship and connection with friends and family, fully participating in team and community activities, and experiencing life event. Hearing makes it possible to engage, listen, laugh, and enjoy many of the things that help shapes our quality of life. Hearing is the only sensory system that allows us to know what's going on everywhere in our environment. We don't have to be looking at the twig that is snapping to know there's something behind us in the dark. This ability imparts tremendous survival advantages for all animals. It is easier to understand speech in noisy surroundings. The brain needs input from both air in order to separate sound effectively. You will experience a more complete and comfortable sound picture if you can use both your ears. Think of mono and stereo sound. Two air are given you the sense of space and volume. The air has three main parts. These parts include the outer air, the middle air, and the inner air. Each section is made up of structures that play clear roles in the process of changing sound waves into a signal that goes to the brain. Based on your diagnosis, your best treatment may include eye and head exercise, walking exercise, balance exercise, and education about your dizziness problem. Exercise are progress as you improve so that you are less dizzy when you sit still and when you do daily activities. The right ear responds more to speech and logic, while the left ear is more tuned in to music, emotion, and institution. Scientists believe it's because speech is processed primarily in the left hemisphere of the brain, while music and other creative functions are processed in the right hemisphere. Your ear and your brain work together to hear and understand sound speech. It is your brain that uses the information from your ear to localize sound. Hearing loss can affect personal and work life. Fewer educational and job opportunities due to impaired communication. Social withdrawal due to reduced access to service and difficulties communicating with others. Emotional problems caused by a drop in self-esteem and confidence. 10 interesting facts about your ears. Your ear keeps growing with age. Wow, didn't know that. Ears are self-cleaning. Ear never sleeps. Your ear have very important hair that don't grow back. Sound exposure is the second leading cause of hearing loss. Your ears help regulate pressure changes. How can you clean your ear? Soak a cotton ball and dip a few drops of plain water, a simple saline solution, or hydrogen peroxide into the air with your head tilted so the opening of the air is pointing up. Keep it in the position for a minute to allow gravity to pull the fluid down through the wax. The sensitivity and power of the air may explain why they can feel enormous for many people. Whispering into the air during intercourse can stimulate nerve endings and enhance feeling of intimacy. So there you have it. That's a lot that your air can do. I mean, that is very interesting. The things that your air can do, but it's all good, you know.
Yeah.
At least we live and we learn. The air is very important, Philia.
Extremely important. And it's interesting when you read it, because I didn't know, or I didn't know much about how the air controls balance. Like, you would think that one has nothing to do with the other, but I think that's the reason why when people have vertigo, the air, or the hammer, anvil, and stirrup in the air, it's actually affected, and that's why they get dizzy, and sometimes they fall, or they have to sit down, because it's going on in the air. So the inner ear is important. Good to know.
Very, very,
Thanks for
very.
that health tip.
Yes, no problem. So
Mhm.
today our topic will be why and how to reprogram your own memory structure with wise visualization techniques and avoid expectation failures. So I think this is interesting. This is an interesting topic today, because sometimes a lot of us cannot reprogram our memory. You know, we stuck in our own ways, and I think this is very important. So I think Philia will be on shortly. Once again, share the page, like up the page, guys, and partake in our conversation. Let us know what we could do. Hi, Vogo. Hi, good night, good night, Nico Gaia. Good night, June. Good night, Melvin. Junior in the background. Yes, thank you guys for logging in.
Elite.
Um, how to reprogram your memory to become more self-reliant. Modern conversations like smartphones and internet provide us with access to more information than we could ever hope to remember. And I
Hmm.
think now with a lot of things, you know, we tend to, some people stuck in their own memory, Philia, and
Yes.
then some people again, you know, the problem is often fail to differentiate between the importance of information we
Mhm.
are ought to keep in our memory and the less important data that is better stored elsewhere. So,
No.
what are your thoughts on that?
It's really important to, I always say, constantly read or do things that improve your brain. The brain is a muscle. I think I've mentioned this on a podcast before this. The brain is a muscle. So with every muscle, if you don't work it out, it becomes
Right.
flat. It becomes useless. And if you don't use it, you will lose it.
Yes.
Now, it's a very powerful thing. People can use their minds to manifest things. They use their minds for memory. It goes back into, repressing memories that are harmful to you, maybe from your childhood. It causes triggers. It's so powerful, but we don't use it enough of it. We use a very small percentage of our brain. So if you like to read, or even if you don't enjoy reading, you should just always read. Play a lot of IQ exercises, memory games, like sometimes just putting cards face down and seeing if you could memorize where the last card to match. There's so many things that really improve your memory. There are certain vitamins you can take, ginkgoba, certain teas you could drink that helps with memory preservation and also just memory loss in general. So I think it's just really important. So that's just on a that's more on a physical thing, that the things that you can do physically. I think it's important sometimes, even like when you're looking at pictures, like you would see like a picture of you when you were younger, and you would be like, I
Right.
feel like I remember
Yes.
what was happening, right? So sometimes just looking back at things could jar your memory. That's why the word jar comes from. It shakes, it moves, it does something to it. It recaps things. As I said, it's so powerful, but it's also a cabinet. You can file things away, you could open it, you could sift it through things. Think of it like a machine. It is, it controls everything in our body. So it's
Right.
just really important to do the things to keep your mind active, keep your brain active. And I think that helps a lot. um like, if
Yes.
you can control your mind, you can meditate, you can use it to relax yourself, relax your entire environment, block things out. you
Right.
know, and people think that, oh, it's so noisy in here, but literally your mind is everything. You know, your mind, they say mind over matter. That's because the
Yes.
mind is actually stronger and more powerful than matter. So
Exactly.
you can actually be in a noisy room and literally quiet everything down because you are focused so much on what you want to do that you can actually truly manifest it. So
Right.
if we took advantage of the powers of our mind, like all of us will be extraordinary human beings, but we don't do it enough. So
I think so.
yeah.
We think in all sorts of problematic ways, even
Mhm.
though we often enjoy tackling challenges and feeling of accomplishment they provide.
Mhm.
When
Right.
presented with the option that do not work, we tend to take it.
Mhm.
When we can have the fruits of our labor without actual labor, we are basically presented with an offer we can't refuse. The
Right.
problem lies within ourselves of what social, psychological, or a memory that essentially a reference to information in your phones
Mhm.
or on the internet or another person or practically anywhere that isn't in your own head. When you are in need of a phone number that is stored as a transaction memory, your memory isn't the actual number but rather something along the lines
Mhm.
iPhone contact apps. You may not remember the information itself, but you will also know exactly where to find it. This
Mhm.
is extremely useful when you want to recall data that isn't practically important in your day-to-day life
Right.
skills.
Right.
You need to practice. Um, I think too, a lot of people tends to not use the memory as such and rely on these gadgets. But as
Right.
you say, the mind is something that we have to constantly work on. And reading, even if you don't read, as you say, you have ebooks that you could listen to
Mhm.
be
Right.
active with the brain and different things.
Right. Well, I wanted to point out, I'm sorry. Think about in the past, prior to cell phones, prior to computers, because computers were utilized by the military. We used to memorize on average 20, 30, 40, 50, hundreds of phone numbers. You know your
Right.
mothers, your fathers, you know your sisters, your brothers, you knew your best friends, you knew your cousins. You just knew phone numbers.
Yeah,
Now
before.
right now you barely know your own phone number. Sometimes people ask you your phone number and you be like, oh, and then you have to go in and put my contact. Like how is it that your own phone number, sometimes you have to think twice about it because we've relied on technology to remember for us. So
Right.
another way to do it, that's why I admire people who still have phone books. My mother still has a phone book to today. Yes, she uses her cell phone, but you will always find her little phone book where she wants to find a feather for her ear. She goes to F. And I'm like, what you put it for? Feather, F. You know, and she opens it and have the little chicken feather. I'm like, you are so weird to me. But at the end of the day, everybody's phone number is in there, you know, and
Yeah.
you look at what happens. We panic when our cell phones fall in water. We
Yes.
panic when we break it. We panic when there's no Wi-Fi because it's like you can't even call your own children. Like
You know,
maybe out of my 5 children, maybe one of them I remember their cell phone number only because it was the first cell phone and
it's
I just
true.
happened to. It's terrible. I got 5 kids. If something were to happen to my children, I swear to you, I kid you not, I will not know what number to call because I got to start going under their names in my contacts. So
You're right.
these are things, and I'm an avid reader and I still don't know their numbers. So
Right.
we have to stop relying on, I know technology is
And
there. If
technology.
yeah, information is at our whim, but that doesn't mean we have to be so complacent. We really need to start going back to some of the old things to refresh our memory. I think I was smarter when I was younger than I am now, in spite of my degrees, because
Right.
I just remember things more. Now, even if you ask me what I had on yesterday, I got to be like, damn, like I physically don't remember because
Not you alone,
technology,
Celia.
yeah, it's so sad. It's funny, but it's really sad. So these are little things that we can do to change literally the dynamics of our brain. You literally just need to shift and pivot, and you can literally change the way your brain functions just by doing little things like try to start writing down phone numbers, you
Right.
know, little things like that. Like who is
Yeah.
to say? Yeah. So
Well, I want to say good night to my cousin Pearl who is listening. But why I'm laughing is because I have a phone book still. So
good. You
my
see?
so So my coworker Jordan, he'd be like, Miss Green, pull out your phone book now, because I write down numbers because
Yeah.
it if your phone gone, you have no number.
Nothing. You can't call
You
your
know?
mom, your dad, your brother, your sister. You gotta wait on them to call you. And guess what? They can't reach you because you don't have a phone. That's the problem.
Exactly.
In fact, people stopped having house phones. The only reason why I had a
It's
house phone
true.
was because in 2003 we had that dumb blackout, and everybody who didn't have a house phone could not call their loved ones. But
Right.
at the end of the day, everybody has a mobile number. When you put
Yes.
best contact, mobile,
Yes.
home phone, none.
None.
Work
Yes.
phone, work phone, none of your business.
Yes.
A personal phone, cell phone. Everyone likes to be reached by their cell phone. Text messaging, not even email, cell phone, cell phone, cell phone.
Yeah.
So
And
we,
to the young people, and they like you to text them. They don't like you to call too much. They
yes,
look at text, but it have some older people now who does not like to text
nope,
and rely now
on the
on
phone.
calling. I say people don't like you to call them. They text and
Right,
they read your text right away.
right,
The older
right.
folks. That's why
So
technology now, and if you look at the banks, all the banks now have less tellers.
yeah,
All the supermarket, all Walmart and
everybody's talking to a
Target
robot.
now have
You
all
have
these self checkout.
yes, self
If
checkout.
your car reading problems.
Yep, it's terrible. It's wonderful, but it's terrible at the same time. So we cannot rely on it. We have to go back to some of the old ways. That's why they always say if it's not broken, don't fix it. Those old ways, you might laugh at them. Even them old Obama flip phones, they fall, they never break. Our new iPhones and Galaxies, they fall. You spending $200 to fix the screen. So sometimes some of the old stuff is by far more valuable and useful than this
Yes.
new technology. So
Exactly. And sometimes we can actively learn from our friends too and family. We have to be open minded. Some people not open minded. They in a box and they're in that
right,
box and they're not moving
right,
from the box. You know what I
right,
mean?
right.
Memorize your speed dial, as they say again. Relinquish
Yeah.
your GPS. Long ago we used to have MapQuest. You remember?
Let me tell you, like today, I was looking at an apartment in Far Rockaway. Now, in the past, I'm either going to ask questions, get out, go to the gas station. That's what people used to do back in the day. Oh, excuse me, how do you get back to whatever, whatever? Of
Right.
course, my cell phone died, and me, big man, Mumu, staying there waiting for this thing to be charged because I did not know how to come back home. And this is Far Rockaway. There's only one way in and one way out. Like
Yes.
there's only two ways. You're either gonna go through Cross Bay or you're gonna go through Jill Hodges Bridges. But I was so lost because the cell phone was dead. I couldn't put the GPS, so I stayed an extra 20 minutes just so the phone could get 1%. I was like, oh,
No,
good, thank
Phyllis.
God. And I was already going in the right direction, but I didn't trust myself because I rely on MapQuest. I mean on
GPS.
Waze. It's
Yes.
terrible, Phyllis. I could not get out of Far Rockaway today because my cell phone died and my car charger was taking too long. So imagine if it was an emergency. I had to get to my kids. Like, what was I supposed to do? Like, I don't have a phone book like you, F for feather. I don't have that. So I think that's going to be my homework assignment. I am going to write down as many numbers as I think I can remember and then just have it somewhere. Like,
Just write down at least 3 or 4.
yeah,
And
just,
Pearl is
yeah,
saying so sad when we allow our brains to become lazy.
yes, absolutely.
Technological. It's
Absolutely.
not man culture. If we can go back in our own independent thinking and get off the media for a
Yeah,
day, we will see the difference of our life. And some people, we can do a challenge. Can
right.
you stay a day without watching your cell phone? Let's put the challenge out there. I
Yeah.
mean, I normally leave my phone home and that's it.
I
I just
usually have my phone for my kid, like for them to be able to reach me, my mother, my phone, my man. But
right.
really, at the end of the day, and of course for work. But then once work is done, I don't have to respond. I really don't. So I think we rely on people communicating with us. But you're right. When you in places like sometimes when I go to the Poconos, there's no cell service. You
No.
barely can get a service. So what
Yeah.
happens? Do you not survive for the 3-4 days you're there? You do.
Right.
So it's the same thing. I think it's just very psychological. We don't tend to realize, wait a second, like, sometimes this phone is not working. Sometimes you can't get Wi-Fi. Sometimes there's no service. You're gonna die without it. You have to figure it out like we used to in the past. We figured it
Yeah,
out.
you see, Marina is saying leave your phone home, and it's true. Normally I do. And another thing too, I don't take my phone if I'm going for dinner. I don't have my phone.
Good
I
for
think
you.
it's rude. I think
It's
it's
rude.
just
Yeah.
obnoxious. And I mean, if you go out, you're on your phone. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just disrespectful.
Yeah.
And you were saying, when you come across useful information, write it down. Why? The physical act of writing can actually improve your ability to learn. But
Yes.
doing so is also a means of acknowledging that what you are writing is something
It's
important
meaningful.
instead of
Yes.
creating a transactive memory. You are creating real memory that you can access and rely on when needed. The goal is to identify information that worth keeping and taking the necessary action to make it ready available in your brain. If you are not that important, a transactive memory is adequate. But when you come across information that really matters to you, it's worth the effort to make room for your permanent memory. And you know, like Anthony, I can tell you, he knows his passport number, he knows his bank card number, he good,
Yeah.
good.
So what's funny about that, and I mentioned it last time as well. I think Chase fraud, Chase is excellent with their fraud department. Like someone tried to use my card in some weird, makeshift cell phone company store that wasn't a major cell phone company. So, they always say press yes if this is you, press no if it's not. I put no, I put the N, and immediately my card was canceled. I couldn't go on Amazon because I needed to get the real digits. I'm like, oh my God, I can't buy the stuff from Amazon. I'm like, I felt paralyzed. Of course
Yes.
I could still use the Apple Pay, but I couldn't do anything else without the physical card. But basically what I was trying to say is that it's like the, you know, the new card came and already I memorized the number. So sometimes I find that's a good and bad thing. Bad thing is that I memorize it, so I don't need to have the card when I want to do something. And the good in it is that that's how I keep my memory a little active. I try to memorize those important numbers because at the end of the day, when you're reading something like, oh, hold on, where's this card? Where's this card? It's in your memory already. You can't forget it. And also, to add what you were mentioning, that's why when you're in school, when teachers said, write this down,
Down, yes.
a lot of kids, you get like, oh my God, this is so long.
Yes.
But they tell you that for a reason. When they say write it down, the act of writing it down is a way to permanently solidify what that information is. So when you memorize it, it's nice. But when you physically write it down, and you write it
Yes.
down more than once, and
Yes.
that's why when you're learning how to spell your name, you're writing it 20, 40, 50 times, writing Phyllis Worrell. That's a long name. You got mad letters in your name, but you
Yes.
learned it at an early age because you were writing it down. So it's literally the same thing with our memory. If you write it down, you will memorize it. And even if you don't memorize it word for word, it tends to stay. It's a memory that doesn't go away, even if
Yeah,
you
and
get the
Marina
gist
is
of it.
saying
Right.
writing helps to retain, and it's
Right.
true. And
Yep.
ultimately, it all comes down to paying attention and acknowledging the little yet important things that occur outside of your head. It
Right.
is easy to ignore what's happened around you and simply defer to your transactive memory as a
Mm-hmm.
matter of convenience, but hopefully, these few methods will help you avoid the problem. While you can permanently keep all the information you want in your brain, you can learn to tell the different and act accordingly when you are particularly good at that. You can consider yourself self-reliant. Marina is saying, I write everything, and some things actually do stick in your mind. And that is true. When you write down things, you always remember it really, really stick in your mind for real, you know?
Yep.
So,
That's very true.
next point we want to go to is the power of visualization. Um, and have you ever heard the saying, seeing it's believing? When it comes to achieving
Yes.
your goals, the power of visualization can be incredibly effective tool. Visualization involves creating a detailed mental image of what you want to achieve, using all five senses to make it as vivid and real as possible. By doing so, you can program your subconscious mind to focus on your goals and take the necessity action to make them a reality. Research studies have shown that visualization can have a range of benefits from reducing stress and anxiety to improving athletic performance and boosting confidence.
Nice.
Marina is saying, yes, vision boards vision boards are very effective, and it's true. A lot of people put up the boards and you have a vision. It come like you
Yeah.
have a business and you want to be at point A, you are here, you put things that you want to do in, let's say, in a 5 year span. I mean, tomorrow is no promise to each and any one of us, but still we
Right.
must have some kind of vision
Some
where
type
you
of
want to
vision.
see yourself. If you are 50 in 5 years, do you want to be in the same position that you're standing in? No.
Mm.
They are very effective, and I believe that.
It's
Celia?
true. Yes, no, it's very true. And what I was going to say is that the power of visualization is really your power of manifestation. Because if you already see yourself there, it's actions start from a thought. Then those thoughts become your words, and your words become your actions, and your actions become your habits, and your habits become your character and your destiny. It all starts with a thought, though, right? So that's why,
Yeah,
when
because Marina is saying it's like words of affirmation and speak
very
it
good.
into existence.
Existence. Yep, that is literally the secret to manifestation. So I know one of my gifts for sure, I've been able to discern it, is the power of manifestation. Honestly, I don't know if there's anything I've ever truly thought of or wanted that has not come into fruition, even down to this morning. I called my cousin, and we started talking, and we just started praying, and we were just praying that this is the year of expansion, abundance, and growth. And right now I'm in the process of moving, because I'm selling my house, and the closing is on June 5th. And I'm like, I got 2 weeks to get out of this house, a whole entire house, in like literally like 2 weeks. And I'm just like, God, you are the ultimate real estate agent. You're the ultimate physician. You're the ultimate banker. Like, there's nothing impossible. And as much as some people would say you can't, I'm like, God is able. He is able. And I 100% believe that. And I was like, let me just pray for the perfect house for my family, neighborhood, school, whatever. And I kid you
Right.
not, literally 22 minutes exactly after that prayer, I got a call from my realtor that says somebody who has a showing at 12 o'clock p.m. this afternoon today, and it's in Far Rockaway. And I'm like, what? Like, literally. And I'm like, okay. And she said it was a brand new house. They literally just built it. I would be the first tenant if I get it. And I went and I looked at it. I was like, okay, this is it. And it's like the power of manifestation. Like, I prayed, and God was like, okay, what else? What's next? And when you doubt God, that, to me, when you doubt him, that's when he always shows,
Yes.
So I think the more you believe in him, the more he manifests the things. And of course, sometimes people cause doubts. Well, you haven't looked at other ones, and
Right.
maybe you making a hasty decision. You
Yes.
start getting that seed of discern, that seed that you plant. Then I
Yes.
started second guessing myself. Then it's like, all right, God, if you really real, throw me a red jacket. Let me see a sign. Let it rain if you're really there. And I'm like, no, I can't do that, because I prayed for this and it came true literally 22 minutes later. So no matter how many seeds you're gonna plant, I have to know that, no, God gave me this and this is it. So
Right.
I'm going to go back and go with my guns, and I'm like,
Right.
I'm gonna go with, I don't care that I didn't see other ones. That's the one I'm picking. So power of manifestation.
And I think too, we have to walk by faith and not by
Yes, faith and
sight.
not sight.
Doing what God's will is, you walk by faith and not by sight. And I mean, sometimes we going into a contract, we going into different situations, we don't know the outcome, but we still have to say, God, just lead me, lead my footstep, and He will work it out for us. I mean, a lot of people question God. I don't question Him. I think I walk by faith and not by sight, and I pray on everything. And I always say, if it's to be, it will be. It's God's will. Nothing happens without Him. We have to just put our trust in Him, wholly surrender ourselves, and go with what your gut telling you, because your intuition, that is be God guiding you. A lot of people question their intuition, but that is the still voice, God talking and saying, hey, Philia, that is for you and that is for you. Claim it and you will get it. And I mean, if that is what you want, he will give it to you. He will give you the desires of your heart. Nothing is impossible for him. And, I think that is very, very important. So by doing so, you can program your subconscious mind to focus on your goals and take the necessary action to make it a reality.
At 100%.
And I
No, I
hear
said
you. Yeah.
100%, sis, that you mentioned that, Phyllis, because it is very important to take action on those things. And that's all. It's interesting because that's all power of the mind. Again, when we talk about the things that you can do to improve your mind, is also believing. If you see yourself there, then what else is left? You literally start to follow suit, because that is the
Yeah.
natural
Nicole is
progression of
saying,
things.
claim it. She's saying,
Right,
claim it.
you're
Once
already claiming it. So when you say you want to go on vacation,
speak the
when you
word.
want to go on vacation, don't you already see yourself on the sunny island? The
That's
minute
it.
you start seeing yourself on that island, what do? You go to Expedia, you go to Delta, you go to this, you start getting your ticket. Then you start planning, okay, hotel, then car. You literally, is because you saw yourself there. That's why you did all the actions that it will take to manifest those things. It's the same thing with everything else. You want to, people who say they want to be a millionaire, or they, you think of their stories where little kids are saying, oh, mommy, I'm going to buy you that car one day. And it's like, okay, baby. And then those are the same kids that become multimillionaires later. Those kids had the power of man. They weren't just talking out of their, whatever. They were manifesting their own destiny by saying something and putting it out there. And that's why when the Bible says life and death is in the power of the tongue, you always should speak positive, because when you start speaking negative,
Always.
you already
Yes.
throw it out there. You put that word out there, it's going to fall somewhere. And you have to remember that anything you say, negative or positive, it doesn't just disappear. It goes someplace. It's matter. It's real. It's molecules. They fall somewhere. So why would you put out something negative? And that's why when you talk about, when people think bad about you, or they raise altars against you, and why you say no weapon formed against me shall prosper, that's what that is. Because I may say, okay, I might not say anything bad about you, but I don't want anything good for you. Oh, Phyllis is always this, and she thinks she this, and that. That's negative. That's a negative thing that I'm raising up against your name. You understand what I mean? So we should always pray against that, one. And two, we should always be careful. Like, if you don't want anything negative to happen to you, stop saying negative stuff. Stop saying today's going to be a bad day. Today's going to be this. Oh, it's going to be a horrible day because I woke up. No, it's going to be a blessed day. I just had one challenge this morning. I woke up on the wrong side, but it's okay. That's past, and I will continue to be blessed and favored, and my day will be fine. Speak it into existence.
Yeah. Very important. Nicole is saying, but sometimes he don't always give you what you want, but he gives you peace over the situation.
Nicole, very good point. And you know what? You're right. He doesn't give you what you want because it's not his will. So as long as you know, that's why everything we do, I always say in God's will, right? We always say God's willing. Because at the end of the day, he's the ultimate judge. He's the ultimate executioner. He's the ultimate everything. So if it's not in his will, I don't care what you want. If you're not getting it, it's because it's not in his will. So you pray that, God, I hope it's your will, because I want to win this lottery. I hope it's in your will so I can win this lottery, and you win it. And if it's not, there's a reason for it. Maybe he thinks maybe you're gonna go bankrupt because you've never had that kind of money. Maybe you don't know how to even manage your money. What are you praying for millions when you can't even manage hundreds and thousands, right? You have to be in a position, right, to set yourself up before God puts you in a position to accept and receive these things.
Exactly. So by harnessing the power of your mind eye, you can create a clear path towards your goal and make them more attainable than ever before. Whether you are looking to improve your personal life, your career, your health, visualization can be a powerful tool in unlocking your fully potential. So I think too, you must have a vision. You can't go into things blindsided and don't know what side you have to be seeing something, explanation on how it works. You want to build a house, okay, you need bricks, you need cement, you need gravel, you need sand, you
You
need
need a
these
plan.
things. You
You need
need
a
a
plan.
plan,
Once you have
you
the
know
plan, then you can be like, okay, now that I have the blueprint, because you need that first. That's the thought. The blueprint is your thought, right? Once you have your thought, now your blueprint is what your thought is on paper. Now it's like, okay, how much sand we need, how much this, how much mortar,
right,
how much blah blah blah. But it all starts from the thought, and then everything else is the blueprint. So that's what we do to make our minds better, is to think of something and literally do the steps that you have to take to manifest those things. You want to write a book, start writing one page at a time.
right,
That's all it takes. And then next thing you know, you have a whole bunch of pages to put
right,
together for a book. That's what a
yes,
book is several pages of an idea put together. But people sometimes are afraid to take the step because they don't know what to do. But it's okay. You don't have to have the answer. You
right.
just have to start.
You have to take a leap of faith.
Leap of faith.
Um,
That's all.
so the first one here, the saying, set clear goals. And that's the same thing that we were saying, that you have to set clear goals. Number two, creating a detailed mental image of what you want to achieve, right? C, using all five senses to make your visualization more vivid, right? D, practicing visualization regularly. So practicing regularly is the key to making it a habit and repeating its benefit. Find a quiet and comfortable place where you can relax and focus your mind. Practicing visualization for a few minutes each day, ideally at the same time each day. And E, tip for making visualization more effective. Use powerful languages and focus on what you want to achieve rather than what you want to avoid. That's one. Practice visualization in a relaxed and positive state of mind. Use affirmation. Same thing Marina was saying with the affirmation, to reinforce your visualization. Visualization yourself overcoming obstacles and challenges that may arise. Like some people have a fear of heights, but sometimes when you go up there, you doesn't be so scared as you were before. You understand what I mean, Philly? Make your visualization as detailed and vivid as possible. By following these steps and incorporating these steps, you can use visualization to achieve your goal and unlock your full potential. um, Guided meditation, affirmation, as we said, vision board, as we said, Marina, creative visualization exercise, overcoming common challenges with visualization, addressing doubts and negative self-talk. When you first start visualization your goal, you might experience doubt and negative self-talk, right? Philly, as you say, sometimes you doubt yourself. You may question whether visualization really works or whether you are capable of achieving your goal.
Right.
To address these doubts, try incorporating positive affirmation into your visualization practice. Repeat the affirmation that reinforces your beliefs in yourself and your ability to achieve these goals. You can also try journaling about your fears and gain more clarity of perspective. And I think that is a true one, because with me, I would say, you know what, I'm going to the gym. Sometimes you get up, you don't want to go, but you have to push yourself to go. That's a stand. You can't say you want to lose 10 pounds and you keep eating and you're not going to walk or drink your water or look at things that you're eating in order for you to try to lose the weight. Because, when we cross a particular age bracket, it's very hard to lose that weight.
Very much so.
Strategies for staying motivated and committed to visualization practice. Stay motivated and committed. Like me, I look myself in the mirror and I just be like, You are beautiful. You are
Nice.
enough. I watch myself and I just talk to myself and tell myself that, because sometimes people there's want you to be less of yourself. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I talk.
Right.
Go
Very,
ahead.
very important. I love that because also today on my Bible study talk, they talked about something that you've prayed for that has come to pass. And as I said, I don't think there's much that I've ever really truly prayed, because I always ask for the will of God. But even like manifesting, as I said, through your prayers, like I used to look for validation in my relationships to make me feel important and loved and this and that. And you realize that validation is for parking, not for people. You got to, validation comes from God only. He's the only one that gives you that
Yes.
grace and mercy. So when you
Yes,
start to
Nicole.
realize the importance, you validate your ticket, that's you could go to a valet for that, right? But the only validation is really what your relationship is with God, period, because he's the only one that can give you that peace you're looking for. You can't
Yes.
find it in a man and a woman and your children, because at the end of the day your children grow up and have their own families. At the end
Yes.
of the day, people will forsake you, they will hurt
Yes.
you, not on purpose sometimes, but just because of the nature of who we are as people. But when you are confident in your relationship, then
Yes.
everything else comes to pass. That's why it's
Fact.
important to speak again positive things about yourself. Don't, if someone is not complimenting you, then you compliment yourself. You pat yourself
Exactly.
on your back. You
Yes.
you see your own testimonies as a way to validate the goodness of who you are and how far you've come.
Yeah, and Nicole, saying, Sister K does it all the time. She speak affirmations, and you have to reassure yourself, because some people have self love is the best love. Yes, and I believe that. Some people might think that you're all into yourself. It's not that you're all into yourself. The God that you serve, you love yourself. He make us into His own image and likeness, and we have to like everything about ourselves. And if we don't like things about ourselves, how can someone else give us and show us that love if we don't first acknowledge our self-love? And I think that's what a lot of women lacking. They're lacking self-love. They're looking for affirmation from the other person out there to give it to them. But when you know that you are who you are, you do not need anybody to validate who you are. You know who you are, and you don't have to prove a point to anybody but God at the end of the day. You understand? So we have to learn to love ourselves, hug up on yourselves, and compliment yourself. Hey, I just tell myself, Mother's Day was yesterday. I say, you know what, Phyllis, you're a damn good mom. Mother's Day is every day. I don't need a card. I don't need to tell me nobody to tell me that in one day. That is an everyday thing for me. So I know I'm a good mom. Whatever you think, that's your business, not mine. But I know who I am. You understand? So some people just out there and looking for affirmation from others to help them, I guess, feel better. But I always feel good about myself.
Very good. And that comes from somewhere, because sometimes that's learned behavior that we learn from our own parents. And sometimes that's just behavior that is innate. Sometimes you're born. Like I know you always reference that you were always different from your siblings. Like from jump, you just said that you did not, like, as much as you love and admire your mom, you didn't want to live your life like that, because you wanted to be independent. You wanted to travel. You didn't want to wait on a man to dictate how you spend your money, and things like that. And as I said, your mom is your greatest cheerleader, and you cheer for
Yeah,
her all the time. But you also knew that you didn't want certain things, and you learned that at an early age. So
yeah,
you also saw a circumstance and said, nope, that is not what I'm going to do. So
yes,
while someone like me, I did exactly what my mom did. She stayed in a toxic relationship.
right,
Just because of the kids, even though she knew it wasn't healthy and good for her, she still stayed and endured. And then at the end, the kids left anyway and went on to
right,
their own lives. And then she was stuck being unhappy. And then the husband that she was unhappy with died. And then it's like, oh, who wants me now? I'm 74. It's like, dude, you are a beautiful woman. You had a lot of ample opportunity to be with someone else, but you chose not to because you thought this would be okay. But at the end of the day, we saw that you were unhappy at a very early age, and it would have been nice for you to have gone out and tried a different person or try life. Just be
Exactly.
better for yourself. So when we do these things and think we're doing it for our children know the difference between a happy parent and an unhappy parent. You
Correct.
have to do it because if you're doing it for your kids, then you should leave, not to stay. You know that's kind of how I see it, and
Right.
it may not necessarily be the best advice, but the best advice is self-care. That is the ultimate, and the best advice is self-care. And if you're not being taken care of and you're not taking care of yourself, then it's not a good situation to be in. So
Exactly.
yeah.
The other one is dealing with distractions and maintaining focus during visualization. Distractions can be a major challenge when it comes to visualization. To maintain focus during visualization, find a quiet and comfortable place where you won't be interrupted. You can also try visualizing yourself smiling or laughing or experiencing joy in a specific moment. To block out external practice can be challenging, especially immediate if you don't see immediate result. To stay motivated, remind yourself of the benefits of visualization and the progress you have made so far. You can also try setting small achievement goals for your visualization practice and celebrating your success along the way. And finally, bodying up or joining visualization group to stay accountable and motivated. I think that is
Good.
always good, you know?
Mm-hmm. I, yeah, I think it's really important. Again, talking about the whole visualization is very important because, um, when you see things, it seems tangible to you. You can touch it, you can see it, you can smell it, you could taste it. So
Yes.
sight is really important for that because once you can see it, you can't unsee it. And if you can't unsee it, then you need to do something about it. And if you have to do
Right.
something about it, then you're kind of manifesting it. So it's literally it's inevitable once you've seen it. Yeah.
They say incorporating mindfulness and meditation into your visualization practice is
Mhm.
also good too, and
Right.
combining with physical practice or action step to enhance result. So
Right.
that's all of that could incorporate to your visualization. So as Marina said, coming back, I think if you get your vision board or
Hmm.
board and just practice what you want, where you want, if you want a car in 5 years, I think a 5 year span is always good to
It's
go
nice.
with,
Yeah.
um, to see where you want to be, what you
Mhm.
want to achieve, and things like that, instead of not having a plan at all.
Right. I agree. Yes. I think 3 to 5 year plan is always really good unless it's something that needs to be rushed, because it's a good time to season things, like to feel it out. You've been consistent for a year, 2 years. Now you're in the comfort of the third year. You're kind of autopilot. You're getting into the nitty gritty of it. So 3 to 5 is always a good gauge. Yeah. For
Yeah, yeah,
visualization and actualization. Yeah.
yes, I think so. So, in wrapping up now, I just want to say that, visualization is a powerful tool and it can help you achieve your goals and transform your life by using mental imagery to create a vivid picture of your desired outcome. You can harness the power of your mind to bring about real world changes. Explore, um, visualize techniques, overcoming common challenges. We can all combine it and try to put it in your daily life. It may be hard for some, but I think if you take a leap of faith and you just do one step at a time, it should be okay.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Thank you for summing that up. Again, the idea of visualization, think of visualization as a first step to actualization, right? You see it already, you see it, you smell it, you dream it, you think it. All the greatest inventors in the world saw something in their mind and tried to do a
Yeah,
prototype to make it into something. So everything begins with that sight, your eye gate, what you see, what you think of in your mind. And how
yeah,
you actualize it is to actually put yourself in a position to make it happen. Again, you don't have to have all the answers. You don't have
no.
to be,
One
to be a
step at a time.
genius. you
Yeah,
you take it one step at a time. Don't be afraid to step out, because
yeah,
once you've seen it, it's a blessing. Now it's like, okay, now what are you going to do about it? Like, literally,
exactly.
what are you going to do about it? You can't just talk it, you got to walk it.
I think so too. And also, like, if you know you have a skill, use your skill. You can get paid for your skill. If you know you can cook, you can bake, you can sew, you can design, you know, use your skill. Use it in your small group. And that way, have a vision. You may not have a big organization, but you can start small. Everybody who have a bakery or who is big today started somewhere. So again, don't be scared to take a leap of faith and put your plan into action and just go for it. You know, just I just want to say, guys, Swag 6 will be June the 15th. Tickets are on sale. June 15th, the Saturday before Father's Day. If you need any ticket, contact me. And we're going to rock and roll. Look out for Barbecue Blessing, August 24th. God's willing, 2024 will be my 20th year. So look out for that also. So in wrapping up, Philia, you have anything else you want to say?
No, I think you summed it up really well. I love this topic because it's a topic that I've always felt very strongly about. And anybody who's in my presence, anybody who knows me, knows that I truly, truly, truly believe in your own manifestations. As long as you pray for it to be in the will of God. Honestly, nothing is impossible. Even if it sounds impossible, it's not. It never is, because at the end of the day, God moves miraculously, and as long as you believe in Him and you trust Him and you obey, and you have discernment, honestly, you can manifest anything you want, even if it seems impossible. So, thank you.
And Nicole Thomas is saying she loved this topic. And then Nicole Lewis Worrell is saying a blessed week to everyone. I want to say, it's always a pleasure. I always am consistent with my motivational Monday. And as I said before, I'm in here just bringing the vibes, as a very important part of the process.
Right.
For you to be consistent in all what you do in your daily life. If you start something, continue.
Yeah,
Don't start and
absolutely. And it started as a vision, right? It started as a thought, and then it became a vision.
like that.
And once it became a vision, you was like, you know what? Let me do these things
Like
to start
you
my
viewers
motivational
here
Monday. And
looking every
exactly.
Monday for Philia and I to come on and deliver our message.
So it's a blessing, and it all is the power of the mind, power of visualization to actualization. This was very good. Thank you so much, Phyllis. And thank you, viewers. Thank you for your love and support. We sincerely appreciate everything
Uh,
you guys do. And
yeah, and again, as we say, we do it for the cause and not the applause, right? All right. So anyhow,
yes,
guys, have
absolutely.
a blessed and productive week too.
Yes. God bless everyone.
Stay safe, be good, love in the house always. All right.
Yes.
Bye,
And Phyllis, safe
Philly.
travels back. And anybody who's not in their regular hometown, safe travels. Have fun wherever you are and be safe. And we look forward to seeing you all next week. Same time, same
All right.
place, maybe.
Yes.
All
No,
right.
I'll
Bye
be in New
bye.
York. All right,
Okay.
guys. Have a blessed one.
Love you. Bye.
Love you too. Bye.